order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Andrew Rakowski.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with announcements and presentations. Right after I do roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Present.
Councilwoman Green is absent, excused. Councilman Erzberg. Here. Councilman Luongo. Here. Councilman McDermott. Present. Councilwoman Rakowski. Present. President Trump.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Now we'll do announcements and presentations. Marion London from the Commissioner's Office.
Good evening, Council President, to the entire Council, to the Deputy Mayor, to all the dignitaries here, and the fine citizens of Westland. Again, I'm Mary McClendon from the Office of Wayne County Commissioner. Glenn Anderson, it's always a pleasure to be here in Westland. Just want to give you just a few reminders. Let us not forget the census is coming up. It's really important for your community to get its fair share of the funding that comes out as a result of the census. You certainly want your city to grow and don't want it to decline. So you want to make sure you know where all your citizens are within the city. Not forgetting that you have homeless population as well that needs to be counted. Every city has a place where the homeless visit, and so you want to make sure you get them as well because they count as well. So let us not forget the census. There are jobs connected with the census as well. So individuals here in Westland, if you're interested in employment, that's an opportunity as well. Also, I want to remind you that the Wayne County Park schedules will be coming out. It's still cold right now, but there's a lot of opportunities that will be there for you to enjoy the county parks. Those park schedules will come out just before Easter. They'll come out on Good Friday, and when those park schedules come out, we will make sure that your community gets those park schedules. Usually when I come to the meeting, I will have some park schedules for you so that you can partake of the activities at the park. Also, I just want to remind you that we are working hard in the county at this point. Commissioner Anderson is, if he can be of any assistance to you, do not hesitate to let him know. Also, the coffee hours, as a reminder of the coffee hours. And of course, it's the second Monday of every month. So you have the March coffee hour that's coming up that he shares with the state reps. They're there as well. You can come and share information and give information, but you're all welcome to attend. And with that, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. At this time, we'll take comments and or requests from the public regarding the agenda items and the consent calendar. So at this, you'll be able to have 3 minutes to speak or ask questions on any item that's on the agenda or on the consent calendar. Your questions and comments need to be confined to what's on the agenda consent calendar at this time. You'll have 3 minutes at the end of the meeting for general comments. Is there anyone on my right? Is there anyone on my left? Seeing none, we'll close citizens' comments on the agenda. Move to the consent calendar. Motion by Councilman Jim Godbout. Support by Councilman Mike McDermott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, motion carries.
The Council has approved the following consent calendar items: approval of bid for equipment upgrades and Windows 10 conversion services. Administration recommended the lone bidder, Studio Tyson LLC, total amount not to exceed $11,898. Approval of bid for fire station door access systems. Administration recommended the low bidder, Actron Security Alarm Systems Incorporated, total amount not to exceed $22,976.20. Approval of purchase of 4 Stryker power load systems for the fire department, total amount not to exceed $107,607.60. Approval of EMS Transport and Fire Services billing contract with Acumed Billing Incorporated. Agreement is for 5 years with the option to renew for 2 years and an additional 1-year term, and authorizes the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. Approval of contract for the Homebuyer Assistance Program Management to National Faith Homebuyers. The contract is for 3 years and authorizes the Director of Housing and Community Development to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. Approval of request to reprogram CDBG, home, and NSP funds. And then the last item approved on the consent calendar, introduction of ordinance 177A1, an ordinance to amend section 110-2.1 of the Westland City Code to establish a 6-month moratorium extension on applications for permits or licenses to establish new massage parlors. Moving to new business, item 1, approval of minutes of the regular meeting held February 3, 2020.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Andrew Rakowski.
Support.
Support by Councilman Londo. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green is absent, excused. Councilman Hersberg.
Abstain due to absence.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott. Yes. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item 2, adoption of prepared resolution to establish a request for funding, delegate an agent, attest to the existence of funds, and commit to implementing a maintenance program for the South Schuman sidewalk from Fairchild to Palmer Road.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Councilman Landau, supported by Councilman Hersberg. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, motion carries.
New business, item 3, confirmation of reappointment of Deborah Folks to the Westland Planning Commission for a 3-year term with the term to expire February 18, 2023.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Hersberg. Support by Councilwoman Rakowski. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Motion carries.
She's in the audience.
Deborah, would you stand up and be recognized?
New business, item 4, confirmation of reappointment of Sharon Scott to the Downtown Development Authority for a 4-year term with the term to expire February 23, 2024.
We'll do motion by Councilman Godbout.
Support.
Support by Councilman Landau. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, motion carries. Sharon?
New business, item 5, approval of voucher.
Motion by Councilwoman Rakowski.
Support.
Support by Councilman Landau. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Hersberg.
Just a quick question through the Chair to Finance on page 4, Personnel Department. Just curious what the reimbursement was for Mayor Wild for $1,500.
Through the chair, I will look that up and get the information back to you on that.
Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion?
I would make a motion that we remove that item until an answer could be given for the next meeting.
Motion to remove that particular item on the voucher report? Is there support? Support by Councilman McDermott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries. Item is struck from the voucher report. Moving back to the voucher report. Is there any further discussion on the voucher report? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, motion carries as amended. We will now move on to comments on our request from the public. Citizens and residents are invited to come to the podium and speak for 3 minutes. Citizens are reminded that they have 3 minutes to speak, and anyone wishing to speak shall be heard. Is there anyone on my right? Is there anyone on my left? Sharon?
I'm a trustee for Wayne County Community College, and we have always had the computer program at the Dyer Center, not the Dyer Center, the Friendship Center, and that kind of fell through the wayside. So today, I think between myself, the mayor, and Barbara Markham, we are going to bring that back for the seniors to have their computer classes at the Friendship Center. So that is such good news that I just wanted to share that.
Wonderful. Is there anyone on my right? Sir?
Hello, William Asprey. So regarding, I wanted to bring up last week's council meeting about the sanitation recycling. Again, I will say that I don't want it to pass. The reasons are $50 for every $100,000 of market value. If anyone's a renter, I want you to know that most of your landlords are going to be increasing their rents on you, whether $10 or $25 a month, because they have to recoup that and you're gonna be ending up paying more of it. So I want any renters to think about this, that it affects you too. Last week at the meeting also, which the financial director and I spoke about it just beforehand, I appreciate it, thank you. He had mentioned that he paid the bills as far as the bills go. I also was angered, so I walked out. But the reason I walked out was because I pay the bills. The financial director does not live in Westland. He does not own any property in Westland. He writes the checks. But I mean, we're good now. I spoke to him earlier before the meeting. I just wanted to clear that up. Over the last week, I've been seeing a few council members bring up the recycling millage on their Facebook pages. I even saw one say that it will be coming back, which goes against what Mayor Wild says. They will put disclaimers at the bottom of their post, to make them think, I guess, that this is a personal page, I'm protected. That's not the case. I would recommend any council members that do that to please watch what they put up on Facebook, because it's very misleading. So if we don't get recycling back, there's gonna be a lot of angry people. As far as the meeting last week as well, a couple of times it was mentioned, Mayor Wild, and I believe, I don't know if Mr. Falson was the other one, someone did, that it was a non-influential meeting, because Mayor Wild knows that he can't have an influential meeting regarding a millage. There was nothing about it that was non-influential. It made everybody else who was in the audience feel bad for the city because they don't know how to manage their finances. The panel that was up on the board, it even had the owner of the sanitation company. If it was a non-influential, non-biased panel, there would have been a person or a panel against the millage as well. That wasn't the case. So I didn't think it was a non-influential meeting at all. All right, my time's up. Have a good night.
Is there anyone else on my left? Aaron?
Good evening, everyone, city council members, chiefs, both chiefs, deputy mayor, city clerk, and our attorney. I appreciate the few moments to speak tonight, and guess what? You can't guess what I'm here for, I'm sure. But I'm here for another Westland Wayne Relay for Life, and we're getting ready to kick off our season here, even though we have been already working on this for a few months already, but we have a Relay for Life Westland Wayne kickoff, and that is Thursday, February 27th, between 6:30 and 8. You do have flyers. I'm going to be having more flyers in the next couple days at City Hall and other places, so and of course on Facebook. But we would love, anybody is welcome. It's free to the public, just to get to know what we're doing. And we kick off also revealing what our theme is at that event too. And it is at City Hall. And we were very thankful to get that approved last meeting for not having to finance that. So we really appreciate that, because every penny we try to make is for the cause. So I just want to, invite everyone out there, all of you, and anyone that wants to get involved. We really would appreciate anybody's help, sponsorship. Like I said, the main event is June 6th and 7th. And our website is relayforlife.org/Westland Wayne MI for Michigan. But once again, I appreciate all the support that our community and our city has given us. We are so thankful. There's so many Relay for Lives around the state that do not have the support that we do. And believe me, that makes a huge difference. So I am very blessed. We all are very thankful, even to have the time to speak tonight. Thank you so much. Hope to see you there.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on my right? Ms. Hartman?
Is it, I'm lost. Is it after the vouchers that we're
Yep,
talking?
this is your time. And I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to hit start till you get up there.
Oh, okay, thank you. I lost track of where we were. Sorry. I missed last Tuesday for the council meeting on the recycling. We definitely need recycling, and March is the time to vote for it. The sooner the better. We need it, okay? Also, our mall needs attention, right? Otherwise, we might lose it. Now, in November of 1990, I retired, and I went to the mall, and we did Presenting Health-A-Rama, it was called then, I believe put on by Channel 4, and volunteered to enroll people, and you could go to any place you wanted in the mall to do whatever health exam you would want, and the food store is there, so you can eat. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about paying, and City Hall would curtail you from a lot of things where the Westland City Mall would bring in people from all over. I think to keep the city mall vibrant, let's think of using the mall for things like this. And it would do a lot better for the city and for the mall. That's my opinion. Also, I want to thank, which is never mentioned before, but I will, Judy McKinney. Wonderful person. You need a ride, you need anything, all you do is call her. She's got a big heart. Not a big woman, but she's got a big heart. And I want to say thank you publicly to her also. Also, this here business of districts is totally out of realm, is my opinion, because we've been voting by precincts for about 60 years now, had no problem. I see no reason to be cutting up our city into districts to have votes by a few people, and you're not knocking on 82,000 doors. You're talking about the census. 82,000 people live in the city, but you're not knocking on that many doors. So that information is incorrect, and I would like you to try and adjust your thinking to what we actually have. We're going to have census taken this year, and it might be more, it might be less, but that's not the number of doors that you're knocking on. You're only knocking on houses with occupants in it, and the voters are probably 60,000 at the most. So that's and I hope I'm under my 3 minutes.
Almost there.
God bless you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Lida.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else on my left?
I'm just being curious. I came here tonight and I passed them all. And I can't help but notice how the white vans is growing. There was only a few there, and now there's well over 100. And I'm just curious, and I'd like to know who they belong to. Anybody know?
Well, hold on.
What company or what?
They're being worked on. There's a company, an auto repair place that took over the Sears Auto Center, and they outfit those for handicap, for special groups and needs. So they've got contracts with various companies, and they refit those vans prior to them actually going to the customers that order them.
Oh, okay, because as I said, there was only a few, and there's well over 100 now.
They must have gotten a new contract.
Business is good.
And they don't seem to be leaving, not that I care, but it's just, you go by and you see all the white vans, and I was just wondering who they belong to. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Is anyone else on my right? Ray?
Of course, I had to come up here once in a while to at least leave some positive stuff on here, you know. It's my number one is called respect. I want to talk a little bit about that today because I was somewhere in Westland shopping. Some gentleman came up to me, he said, you know what I like about you? You're doing a good job. You speak and you talk about positive things and you talk about respect. Because what I told the gentleman was, respect goes anywhere. Because in 2020, I am starting to move this thing with the Ambassadors Program. What that means is mental health. Disability Awareness Month in 2020, I got a vision with my ambassadors, and I'm going out with my tools, reaching out to the fire departments, because once in a while on the news you hear about the police department. Let's talk about that for a minute. Sometimes they need training because, you know, I'm very sensitive towards mental health because, you know, sometimes somebody might have a bad day or something. I tell people, don't, you know, it depends on the situation. Everyone needs someone to talk to. So I want to talk about that. Even in Livonia, I've trained 40 police officers, sheriffs, state police, with 3 ambassadors out there. I talked about my life, and it helps them to talk about mental health and makes it easy to work in the public better with people. Sometimes people have different abilities, different challenges. And even with our Disability Concern Board, I am proud to be on there seeing 2020 that everyone is being equal. And this is what it's about. Everybody should be a part of something here. And I feel that way now in the community. And I will keep driving that system. On the 3rd, I am going to Lansing, talk to legislatures on the Disability Awareness Month. Everybody to me is somebody. Let's be respectful. Thank you.
Is there anyone else on my left? Anyone else on my right? Judy?
Don't leave, I need a ride when we're done.
Which one?
You took my joke.
It's a good thing I've known you forever. I got a question on this 3-minute stuff. When Jim was in the, oh God, my mind's going. When he was the chairperson or the head of the council there, if you contacted him and you had a reason, you gave extra time. Is that the way it is now?
So if Jim rebuttals back to you or answers your question, does he have more time? Is that the question you're asking?
What? No, it used to be if somebody had something special to talk about or they were going to be extra time, they had to contact him to let him know, and then he'd decide, are you doing that now?
Correct. You have to contact us. You have to contact the clerk's office a minimum 1 week before the scheduled council meeting and present what it is you want to present. Then that goes to the clerk, and then it comes to me. I review it, and then I approve it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was still in there because,
Yep.
you know, it makes a big difference. And as far as the
sanitation. We're not going to get recycling because nobody has it worldwide. It's closed down, so we may get it eventually, but I think I'm all for it, for the millage.
Okay. Anybody else on my left? Anyone else on my right? All right, we'll close citizens' comments. Move to comments from the administration.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple quick things. On behalf of the mayor and myself, we just want to thank Deborah Folks again for serving and being reappointed to the Planning Commission. We look forward to working with you again in the future, and also to Sharon Scott for getting back on the DDA. We appreciate you kicking back for another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 more years so you can serve on the DDA, and we appreciate all your help with that too, Sharon. Thank you. And the last thing would just, Council President, there would be a study session on Monday, February 24th at 6 p.m. to discuss the city's website redesign. That's all we have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to clear up in terms of the town hall on the sanitation millage and the recycling discussion that, as I understand, it's up on WLND and on I guess you get it on YouTube. That meeting, the language used at the podium was influential meeting. I don't know where that language came from. That meeting was an educational meeting, informational meeting. It was not an advocacy meeting. At the start of that presentation, I made clear what the city can and can't do relative to that. So the language was an influential meeting. It was an informational or educational meeting, not an advocacy meeting, and not a quote-unquote influential meeting. So I just wanted to clear up what was discussed at the start of that. Thank you.
Move on to council comments. Councilman Hertzberg?
Thank you. Just go over a couple of things on our agenda real quick. We went through it in about 20 minutes, not a lot of discussion. So items B and C for the fire department, just so everybody's aware, the first one was 90% grant funded, and the second one was 25% grant funded. So that's not all coming out of the city budget. Let's see here. Just want to clarify too, Council President Godbout answered it. I'm not sure if his microphone was on, but there are a lot of white vans you see outside the mall. To my knowledge, there's a company there, they're installing handicap ramps in those vans and then reselling them. So just to answer that. The past couple of years during our budget time, a lot of the council members talked about doing like a budget visioning session, and I'd like to see us do that. I asked for one last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to it. We had a lot of other study sessions going on at the time. So if we can get to that this year, just so we can get feedback from council members with what they want to see in the budget, and from the mayor's office as well, if we can get a heads up on some important things that are in the budget. Regarding the ethics committee, again, we asked for a study session, 2 council members. I also heard back from Councilwoman Green about it. Haven't heard back from anybody else. So just to ask again, I'd like to have a study session to see what can be done to get that ethics committee filled. I think that's it. I'll just end by congratulating Sharon Scott and Deborah Folks on your appointments.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes, I'd like to thank Sharon for continuing to serve on the DDA. And that's a tough meeting to make. That's 8 a.m. on a Thursday morning. So it's probably the earliest meeting that ever gets conducted in the city to attend. So again, thank you, Sharon, for serving on that. And Deborah, thank you for continuing to serve on the Planning Commission. You do a great job on the Planning Commission. You don't have to get up at 8 a.m. for that, so it's all the better. But thanks again for continuing to serve on that commission. And then Lyda mentioned events up at the mall, and there is a upcoming, the Chamber of Commerce is holding a health and business expo on March 14th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So please avail yourself of the opportunity, go up to the mall and see what the business community has throughout the city. There's lots of vendors that will be up there that are members of the Chamber of Commerce, as well as several of the hospitals, local hospitals and clinics will be up there providing free testing. So that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Rakowski.
I never know which way we're going, so I
Trying.
apologize. I too would like to thank Deborah Folks for her continued work on the Planning Commission and Sharon Scott for her work on the DDA. It's citizens like those two women who are active in our community that make all of the difference, so thank you. This past weekend, Westland hosted Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which is an organization that builds bunk beds for children that don't have access to beds. And their catchphrase, is, if you will, is "No kids sleep on the floor in our town." We were fortunate to build 40 beds that'll be delivered this weekend. And if you didn't get to participate in the build, but you would like to be part of the team that goes out and delivers these beds, so they're bunk beds, mattresses, sheets, and the comforter and pillow for those children, you can find them at shpbeds.org, or you can find them on Facebook, and they have a Sign Up Genius account. They're going to be doing another build in our city in June. So each of their building sessions create about 40 beds. There are 1,000 children on the list that need a bed. So they're doing a great thing for our community and the surround, and I really enjoyed participating. I got to get some new skills and learn how to use a router. So if you have an opportunity to participate in that, I think it's a great cause. Excuse me. And then I would just encourage everybody to attend the Relay for Life kickoff on the 27th from 6:30 to 8. We've been hosting this fundraiser for Relay for Life for many, many years, and Miriam works very hard to have a very successful event. And again, thank you. It's because of how hard you work that we have a successful event, so thank you. And that's all for me.
Councilmember McDermott.
Well, good evening. So I've gone from 8 minutes to 4 minutes to 2, so maybe I'll get 1 minute tonight if you're so lucky. I wanted to first off start by congratulating and thanking both Deborah Folks and Sharon Scott for their continued service in the community. To echo my colleagues' comments, what makes the city really operate and run is, in concerned citizens and citizens that want to get involved in boards and commissions in the community. So thank you again for your continued service here. I'd like to remind everybody that we have in the state of Michigan no reason absentee voting. So you have the opportunity, no matter your political alignment or party, to still request an absentee ballot at the clerk's office for the upcoming March primary election. So I hope that everybody wants to get engaged and involved, no matter who you plan on supporting or voting for. In the March primary, you can still request an absentee ballot at the clerk's office, thanks to no reason absentee voting. I'd also like to echo my colleague Councilman Hersberg's sentiments on both the visioning session for the budget. I think there are a lot of us who have a lot of good ideas that we'd like to kick around, and to have a study session on it, I think would be really important. And I know it has been something that, having sat on the other side, people have brought up over the years. And then also echo his sentiments on the Board of Ethics. I too would like to have a study session on the Ethics Board and the potential of bringing that back here in the city of Westland. And then if you didn't have the chance to attend the town hall, both on my council Facebook page at Councilman Mike McDermott and also on the city's YouTube page for WLND, you can watch the full town hall and provide your comments on not only my page, but also in the comment section on WLND for the town hall. And nothing further from me tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Londo.
Thanks, President Hurt. I also want to echo the comments. Congratulations to Deborah Folks on the Planning Commission reappointment. Do a great job. That's one of the boards that a lot of the stuff that we see on our agenda comes from the Planning Commission. So they put in a ton of work for us, and we ask a lot of questions of you as well. And I watch all the meetings, so thank you all for everything you guys do on that board. And Sharon Scott, thank you for serving on the DDA. I served with you for about 2 years. I was your chairman at one time. So thank you for serving on that, and thank you for reapplying for it. Also, congratulations. I see Tony Paris in the audience from the Westland area JCs. I was hoping you'd get up and speak. He was just elected president of was it, which one, 60th? 60th? Which one are you? 63rd president of the Westland Area JC, so congratulations to Tony. And for those that didn't see, on Channel 4, and a lot of the news stations interviewed him and his wife, they had a beautiful baby on New Year's Eve. There was one of the first babies to be born 2020. New Year's Day, yeah. New Year's Day, I apologize. New Year's, thank you.
Well, we didn't expect to be the first child born.
Yeah. Hey, it was cool. It was really cool to know that I knew somebody there. So I also want to thank Mayor Wild, Council President Hart, Councilmember Andrew Rakowski, and I know some of the Westland Democratic clubs here, Art Warren, Lori Wilson, and Dan and Deanna Stachow, and many others that helped out with the Sleep and Heavily Policed nonprofit over the weekend building the beds. I wasn't able to make it, but I saw all the pictures and heard some great feedback. They said it was absolutely incredible. So thank you all for the hard work on that event. As for the town hall, I want to thank the administration and all the panel speakers that participated, and of course all the residents that came out. I thought there was a lot of great questions for those that actually asked questions. I thought it was well attended, and for those that weren't able to attend, it's going to be it is on WLND cable every day, and it's also on our YouTube page as well. And I also want to thank WLND as well. Those people worked really, really hard to put that event together. When everybody wraps up and leaves, they're still there wrapping cords, and after they've been standing on their feet for 2.5, 3 hours. So I walked up to each of them and thanked them for their time and for everything they did for us. So thank you to WLND for covering that event for us. Also, the other day, we had a new training for our two new council members, Councilmember McDermott and Councilmember Rakowski with Jim Fassone's office, the city attorney. So thank you to city attorney's office and both my colleagues for some great dialogue. It's very important to understand some of the legalities that go on and the support that we have from our legal team. So thank you for that. I'll echo the Relay for Life. She mentioned Miriam. There's a whole team of folks that put that event on, event leadership team. I used to serve on that as well, so I know how much work goes into that. And if you really want to get involved, if your kids want to get involved, your grandkids want to get involved, come on out and check it out. If you're not on a team, they'll put you on a team. It's really a cool event, and a lot of hard work goes into it. It's a year-long process, and for somebody I know who's dealt with cancer, it's a chance for you to get involved and kick cancer's butt. Last two things. Unfortunately, we had another pedestrian death in the city of Westland recently, and I'll just ask the chief, do we still have the high-vis vest for the residents if somebody comes to the PD? Sorry. For residents that travel on a regular basis?
Yes, they're still available. Maybe just a kind of a reminder, these pedestrian fatals that we keep seeming to have in our town always are a result of people not crossing at the crosswalk. Just a reminder to everyone that, when you're crossing the street and you're crossing into that center turn lane in the dark and you're waiting in that center turn lane thinking that you're waiting for the opposite traffic to clear, the cars that are entering that center turn lane don't see you. And so just a reminder that you got to cross the pedestrian crosswalks, and yes, the vests are available, so the station.
Thank you very much, Chief. That one was right by my house, so I've seen a few of those happen, and I remember a year or two ago they talked about having those. So as the Chief said, if you travel by bike or by foot, you can get those vests and wear those when you're out late at night. And last thing, I promise, is the tickets are now available to purchase for the Red Wings alumni game on March 20th. Tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for children. 6 to 12, and children 5 and under are free. The doors are going to open at 5:30 p.m., and the event starts right at 7 p.m. It's a pretty short event, but it's really cool. The Red Wings alumni is out there with members like Darren McCarty, Dino Cicerelli, Mickey Redmond, Larry Murphy, Peter Klima, John Agronic, and many more. A lot of the faces that you know and love playing against Mayor Wild's team that he puts together. It's a fun-filled, family-friendly event for everyone in attendance, and there's also sponsorship opportunities available to fit every budget. If you're interested in any of that or tickets, you can contact the mayor's office at 734-467-3200. And that's all I have tonight. Thanks.
Well, as usual, Councilman Londo left me with nothing to say. But I don't want to be left out. Sharon and Deb, congratulations on your reappointment. I feel bad Bill Johnson's not here to tell you that you won't get rich from it, but we appreciate everything you do. It is hard work, and civic activism and being part of boards and commissions are very important, so we thank you. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your reappointment. Also want to thank Councilmember Andrew Rakowski for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, so that was thank you very much. I know it was very difficult. I also want to thank the clerk for running out at the last minute and getting the agendas back out just in time. More agendas. They disappeared, so we did have some. So Chief Jedrusic will be investigating those shortly. But in the meantime, the clerk was able to rescue us from that. I do have a note that was handed to me. The library study session and board meeting for this week has been canceled. So if that was on your agenda for this week, it has been canceled. I'm sure further details will come up for a reschedule or the next meeting. I will touch on the SHP, the Sleep in Heavenly Peace. That was a really fun event. Kind of reminded me when I was in high school and we were doing wood shop. A lot of people came in who had never operated a saw or a router or a sander, and a lot of people actually at the same time while having fun learned how to operate some tools. And I know Councilmember Rakowski is now set on building a wood shop in her house because she had so much fun. She was covered head to toe in wood chips. But WLND did come out and record some of that, and it's my understanding they're going to put a little bit of that on the channel. So keep your eye open. You can see what they do, all the work that went in, and all the volunteers that really came out there. And it's really a worthwhile event. It's a worthwhile program. And I wanted to thank the president, Wendell Grimlick. He's actually a Westland resident here, but he's also the president of the Western Wayne County chapter of Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So I want to thank him, and I want to thank the DPS department for working with us, as well as the city of Westland working with them to make a space available for them to do that work. So Mayor, if you could thank Ramsina's team, we appreciate it again. The last thing I'll say is I did get handed another unfortunate note. Dick McKnight, who was the spouse of our retired Judge Gail McKnight, did pass away on Sunday. So there will be details at the L.J. Griffin Funeral Home. That's where that'll be hosted, so I don't have any date information, but I'm sure that's forthcoming. I ask you to keep the McKnight family in your prayers and thoughts as they go through this very difficult time. So with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.